Today we have Mel Leow, and welcome Mel to today's episode of Get Your Next Promotion Growth Mindset Conversation series. Thank you so much for taking time for this show and introducing Mel to my audience today. Mel Leow is an ICF MCC coach, and as a coach, Mel's key drive is to empower catalysts and leaders to become brave leaders who speak their minds, connect with their hearts, and bring out the best in others. Mel runs an ICF accredited coaching school called Catalyst Coach, and he is a co author of 3 books and author of his upcoming book, Engage How to Stop Living in Default and Start Living the Life You Desire. He
That's right,
also
Manbir.
hosts, yeah, it's a lovely title, Mel. I
Thank you.
also would like my viewers or my audience to know that Mel also hosts a wonderful show called 100 Master Coaches,
Yeah,
featuring master coaches from around the globe. Thank you, Mel. Thank you so much for being on my show. It's really a pleasure to have you.
it is my pleasure, Manbir. I've known you for a couple of years and I've known your good work all across, and it's just a privilege. And I first want to say congratulations on your new book.
Thank you. Thank you, Mel. Thank you so much for your kind
You're
words
welcome.
and compliments. Thank you.
Thank you.
Um, Mel, to start with, you
Mm,
talk about brave leaders.
yeah.
I'm curious, how do somebody watching this show, listening to the show, know that whether they are brave leaders or not?
That's a very good question, Manbir. Brave to some may mean jumping off a cliff on bungee jumping, right?
Hmm.
To others, it may be just going out there and being the sole provider for the family.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
whatever the brave level is, there
Hmm.
are difference in it.
Hmm.
And to a person, it doesn't matter if you're not going out there and doing these big things. It is also the small things in life that we can be brave, isn't it?
Hmm.
Like the situation that we are all going through in the world, right?
Yeah.
With the pandemic, we all can be brave leaders by
Hmm.
being responsible leaders as well, right?
Hmm.
Responsible to our staff,
Hmm.
responsible to the people that we have hired.
Hmm.
One of the things I realized with brave leaders in the workplace, Manbir,
Hmm.
is that brave leaders will stand for their people. So when it comes to a time when it's tough and they have to do a bit of cutting
Yeah.
back,
Yeah.
brave leaders will stand up to say, in good times and in bad times, I will stand for my people.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
it may be without the promotion, but
Yeah.
at least I will help you still have a job. But it also may mean that you may have more work to be done, right? A lot more,
Yeah. Yeah.
perhaps, but still we'll be able to manage it together. So to me,
Yeah.
Manbir, it's where you're at right now in our lives, right? And if
Hmm.
we can choose to be brave at that point of our life, that would be what I call a brave leader.
Wow. So brave to you is what's brave for you or me or whosoever is listening to
That's
this,
right.
watching this
That's right.
at this
Yeah.
moment, in this moment.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
true. It's so
Yeah.
true. And you
Yeah.
know what? There is also the levels, isn't it? Maybe your level of brave is here right now,
Yeah.
but you and I know that we can go to the next level of brave as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
why we have coaches ourselves. We have mentor coaches or business
Yes.
coaches or life
Yeah.
coaches.
Yeah.
And the coach's role, I might say, is to help people to the next level, to their
Yeah.
next level of brave, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Hmm.
the opportunity there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And as you know, this conversation of today is about growth mindset and relating it to the
Yes.
success in corporate. So,
Yeah.
my next question to you is rather, next curiosity to you is what is growth mindset for Coach Mel?
Wow, that's a very good question because when we say growth mindset, it means
Mhm.
it is continuous,
Yeah,
right? To me,
yeah, yeah.
growth. That means you're here right now and there's a chance for you to grow. I believe that every day we can be growing
Mm,
or stagnant. Yeah? You know
mm,
what I mean?
yeah,
We can choose to actually take steps to grow. Like, for example, when I do training, and I'm sure you do as well, right? And we have all these wonderful people and say, in the training, and they say, Mel, but I don't have the time. I don't have the time to do this. I don't have the time to do that.
yeah,
Growth mindset is about actually making time for our growth,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
We are making time. So, for example, if you and I can have half an hour on Facebook,
yeah,
example,
yeah.
okay, sometimes more than half an hour, if you know what I
Yes,
mean. But
I know.
imagine if we said, okay, maximum, I will
Yeah.
have this amount of time on social media,
Mm,
and now I'm going to allocate that balance of the time that I've cut
yeah,
off to maybe watching a TED talk,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Maybe joining a free webinar,
yeah, yeah,
maybe going on to edX
yeah.
and learning about
Mm,
education on some area that you and I would like to get into.
yeah,
So there's
yeah.
so much that we can actually do, but I think what stops us is because we are stuck sometimes in that default mode. And so
Mm,
to come back to that growth mindset, to me, it's about daily decisions.
yeah,
How
yeah,
we can tell ourselves, do we want to grow today
yeah,
or do we want to be stagnant?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I loved what you said, asking that question, do we want to grow
Yeah,
today? And
that's right.
I'm kind of, I'm extending your question. Do I want to grow in this moment? Do I want to
mm,
grow in this meeting? Do I want to grow
yes,
in this
exactly.
conversation? Yeah,
Oh, yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about making their choices, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's and other thing which you said, that's very close to my heart is growth mindset is not about a destination, right? I've reached here
Yes.
and wow,
Yes, it's true.
I'm having growth
Yeah.
mindset. So it's like continuous,
Yeah. Can I
right?
share with you a little secret, Manbir?
Yeah,
And
please.
I guess it's not a secret because everyone's going to listen to it on your show. I told myself when I was a younger coach that I want to be a master certified coach, right?
Hmm.
And at that point of time, being so young, I thought, wow, that would be so nice being a master certified coach because there are so few in the world.
Yeah,
And then I realized through my journey, that same thing that you just said, it's not about that destination. It's
yeah.
about that continuous growth every day. So when I
Hmm.
got the MCC, finally, actually just this year,
Uh-huh.
I realized that it's just the beginning. It's just the
Yes.
start of a new journey again, a new journey of growth, a
Hmm.
new journey of learning. So it's all about continual learning. Just
Yeah,
like what you say in one of your chapters of your book, it's
yeah,
about the continuation of that learning. So
yeah,
that to me is part and
yeah.
parcel of growth.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah. Thanks for bringing in that. I really feel, as you said, as leaders, we keep on
Mm.
procrastinating. And you really wonderfully said default setup, right?
Mm,
We believe in the default setup. Something which was
yeah,
giving results yesterday, we believe that, that will
absolutely.
give results today also. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's not true.
Mm,
Yeah. And especially in today's pandemic hit world,
yeah,
all of us are facing challenges in different ways, in one way
it's
or
so
the
true.
other. Some
Mm-hmm.
people, as you said, at small level, some people at
Yeah.
larger level, some businesses are really, really, really hit very badly.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, Mel? How does what we are talking about, growth mindset,
Mm.
continuous learning, how does it all practically apply to today's world in leadership?
Hmm. Wow, such a big question, Manbir. There's so many angles I could say this. But I would like to starting with your self leadership, right? It
Hmm.
all begins with you and me, right? Even though, yes, we are leading our family, we are leading our organization, we're leading our people, and even our community, right?
Yeah.
All those are big and nice stuff.
Yeah.
But it all begins with how you and I lead me, myself,
Yeah.
and I.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's the start of everything. It's a start
Hmm.
of us choosing who we want to be
Hmm.
in the difficult situations, like the pandemic,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? Who do we want to be in this time? Do we want
Hmm.
to just sit back and just complain? And you know what? I'll be frank with you. I also have my list of complaints. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the government's fault. Oh, it's this person's fault, politician. Oh, it's this other person, and so on and so forth. But when we think about it,
Hmm.
it's actually what we can do about it, isn't it?
Hmm. Hmm.
Perhaps we can, for example, make this street that I live in
Hmm.
nicer. And during the
Hmm.
pandemic, I've seen it. I go for my walks, I wear my mask, of course,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I see people draw things on the pavement. Have a good
Hmm.
day.
Hmm.
Near their house, they have nice things that they hang over there just to make you
Hmm.
smile. So I
Hmm.
feel like these are the small things that you and I can do
Hmm.
still, even though it's a tough situation, yes,
Yeah.
but still we have a voice.
Yeah.
So instead of spreading all kinds of complaints on our social media links, right?
Yeah.
I think it's time to spread positivity. It's time
Hmm.
to spread the good news. It's
Hmm.
time to spread little things that you and I
Hmm.
can do for the community.
Hmm.
And instead of just commenting,
Hmm.
about things that is happening. So to me, it's about starting where you can, the small step first. Just start there.
Hmm.
Start at that level. And for me, I started with my family first.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
started to make sure that the family environment, because we're all
Hmm.
at home, right? The
Yeah.
work from home situation, right?
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
had to persevere with each other. We had
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
create friendly boundaries with each other. We have to create better conversations with one another so that we
Yeah.
can make this an easier time to live together.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
if this
Yeah.
can be done at home, it can
Hmm.
be translated into other parts of our influence. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
how it is, one step at a time.
Yeah. One step at a time. You made this look very simple, Mel. Very simple and easy.
Well,
Oh.
I rather than trying to control things
Hmm.
outside my boundary, right, which I can't.
Yeah.
Well, I'll try to
Absolutely.
only have these areas of influence that I can influence. So
Yeah.
I'll just start with maybe my friends, even, right? The
Hmm.
extension of me, my Facebook friends, my
Yeah.
LinkedIn friends. So I start to put in positive messaging, right? Even in
Yeah.
every of my messaging from the time of COVID, it's all about the positive, positive, positive stuff, because we all need
Yes.
that for our brain's sake as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I have been following your LinkedIn messages, and
Oh,
I
thank you.
really vouch for that. You really spread positivity. So,
Thank you.
from what you said, I think the question we need to ask then is, what is a small impact I'm creating in my
Hmm.
life today? Maybe a positive impact, small positive impact I'm creating in my life today, and then
Hmm.
extending it to what is the small positive impact I'm creating
Hmm.
in anybody else's life. It may be my near and
Yeah.
dear ones, or maybe my
Yeah.
team.
Yes. That's right.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
So yeah, it starts there. It starts with that one step. So
Yeah.
um, I give you an example. Like right
Mm.
now, during the COVID, I actually asked myself, what can I do? What else can I do? Right.
Mm.
Um, and so that gave birth to actually the 100 master coaches.
Mm.
First and foremost, I was very scared. I'll be frank with you. So again, the flip side of growth mindset is fixed mindset, right? So the fixed mindset
Absolutely.
tells me that I'm not a podcaster. I'm not like Tim Ferriss.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not. So the brain goes and say, I'm not, right? So it
Yeah.
tells us limitations, limitations, limitations.
Yeah.
Until one day I say, I don't have to be Tim Ferriss because I'm not Tim Ferriss. I am Mel.
Yeah.
I just need to be Mel. So I asked myself, what can I start? And then that
Mm.
thought came because I during the pandemic is when I got my MCC. And then I said, now that I've got it, what's stopping you, Mel? That's a good
Uh,
question, isn't it?
yeah.
What's stopping you, Mel,
Yeah.
from doing this show with other
Mm.
master coaches? And I tell
Mm.
you again, Manbir, I had a whole list. Oh, maybe the master coach want me reject me. Maybe they will say no, they don't have time. Maybe. So all kinds of excuses. And then a little voice says, just give it a go. Just
Yeah.
ask. Maybe start with the master coaches that you know.
Yeah.
They'll probably say yes to you. And that's where I
Yeah.
started. I started with my mentors. I started with close friends of mine who are master coaches already. And everyone said yes, 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 yes. And to my latest episode, episode 12,
Mm.
I featured Marsha Reynolds, right? And she, of course, is a famous coach, the fifth president of the ICF, and of course, she appeared on WBEX recently.
Yeah.
She was my guest, and again, I wouldn't have thought that she would be my guest if I did not say the first yes to
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
starts here. It starts
Yeah.
here.
Absolutely. And congratulations for your MCC.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
And I can really relate to, what we are talking about is having those fears. And having those fears is human. All of us have those
Mm,
fears and
of
complain.
course.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I can relate to all that you spoke about because when I was starting this show, I was like, okay, why do I? Who would see this? And blah, blah, blah. All those kind of things. And yes, I'm happy
Yes.
that I did that. Let's talk about, you said, there are fears. And what I heard was, having fears and then being aware of that and then
Mm,
analyzing through them,
mm,
navigating through
mm.
them.
Yeah.
So, what kind of fears do you think people have when they think about their next promotion, when they really, really want to, but at the same time
Mm,
they're fearful, right? You and me have
mm.
seen this as coaches.
Yes.
So, what
Yes.
would you like
Yes.
to say about that?
Well, I just want to tell everyone that they're not unique. Fear creeps up to everyone.
Hmm.
Um, I'm sure fear creeps up to Tony Robbins, John Maxwell, all the top people of the world.
Yeah,
But they have a special way to overcome it, right?
yeah,
Tony, for example, will jump up and he will get into the state, right? The state
yes,
of preparing himself. I'm
yeah,
going out there, come on. And it's a state of mind, right? That
hmm.
you prepare yourself. But
Hmm.
let's not go there because that's Tony Robbins. That's maybe too
Hmm.
far away for us. Let's
Yeah,
look at what happens in day to day.
hmm.
And I'll share with you my experience because before being a coach, Manbir, I
Hmm.
was in corporate as well, right? In
Hmm.
Asia.
Yeah,
And yes, I knew I did well because I'm always very responsible with my job, right? So I know that I've done a good job. And then there's this voice that said, maybe you should have a conversation with your boss, tell him, or maybe ask him what sort of opportunities does he
Mm.
see open for you. And I'll be frank, it was tough because I would be so afraid to even go up to my boss and have this brave conversation,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
So I would actually try it on a side. I would test it sometimes. I would go out for lunch with him, and then, when he's happy, and then I'll say, hey, boss, it's time for promotion, or it's time for, and I sometimes won't say it for myself, right? I sort of
Mm.
say it for my team. I'm like, oh, do you know that this person has worked so hard? So I'm thinking, and so it happens, right? Sometimes we kind of deflect the question that we
Right.
want to ask ourselves. We deflect it with another story, yeah?
Yeah.
Because we are fearful about
Absolutely. Yeah.
rejection.
Mm.
Actually, it's about rejection.
Yeah. Yeah.
You and I don't like to feel unappreciated,
Yeah.
unwanted, um, and rejected.
Mm.
So what we often do is we walk away from that in fear of it happening to us.
Yeah.
And that's why I say, if we were brave enough to take that step, to
Mm.
just ask, there is
Mm.
nothing wrong with asking.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know, I know one of your chapters, you also talk
Yeah.
about ask.
Yeah.
We have to be sometimes brave to have
Yes.
a question inside us, right? But not
Yeah.
just inside us, but ask.
Yeah.
You know, the good book that's, says, ask and you shall
Mm.
receive and your joy will
Mm.
be complete. And I believe
Mm.
in that words, because
Mm.
sometimes we don't ask,
Yeah.
we don't know the answer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So obviously there are different things we have to prepare ourselves. That means we have to do a good job, right?
Yes.
We have to do what beyond sometimes what we're required to do, not just doing what we
Yeah.
are supposed to do. That's not
Yeah.
doing a good job, actually.
No.
It's going above and beyond the expectation that the boss sets. I would
Yes.
always encourage new hires and people who are in the
Mm.
workplace to set your bar higher.
Yeah.
I would often say, set your bar higher
Yeah.
and go and reach that instead of just reaching what
Yeah. Yeah.
averagely everyone is. And that's part of it.
Yeah.
So it's about a couple of things, Manbir. One is about knowing yourself.
Mm.
Two, it's about equipping yourself.
Yeah.
Three, it's about taking initiatives every step of the way and doing more than is requested.
Yeah.
And then when the time is right, then we need to ask, isn't it? We need
Yeah.
to be brave to ask
Yeah.
and present ourselves as that
Mm.
future self, because it's also about positioning
Yeah.
yourself,
Yeah.
because you and I are actually a brand out
Yeah.
there, actually.
Yeah.
So it's
Absolutely.
all about all those things, and taking one step at a time, of course,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
getting to that position. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for that wonderful advice. That's pretty good
You're
advice.
welcome.
So, I know we talked a little about the book, and you had a chance to
Yeah.
look at the book. So, what did you
Yeah.
like the most in the book, Get Your Next Promotion?
Wow. Wow. There are a couple of things, actually. One of the last chapters was on emotional intelligence. So go and read the book. It's got a lot of stuff. But what I like actually is the chapter on conversations that matter.
Hmm.
To me, when I think even about that, conversations that matter, I think about important decisions that you and I need to make,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Like now, for example, I can't travel back to Malaysia.
Yeah.
That's where I'm originally from. I'm living in Melbourne, Australia now. And so what that means is I miss my mom and my dad, right?
I'm sure. Yeah.
Now, if anything were to happen to them, and I,
Hmm.
of course, wish nothing happens to them until I
Hmm.
can
Yeah.
see them. But if
Yeah.
anything happens to them, you and I know that I can't tell the government my parents is sick and I want to go back. I want to fly back. They'll say, I'm sorry. Our
Hmm.
borders are closed. You know, we
Hmm.
can't fly anyone, even for those kind of very important
Yeah.
situations.
Yeah.
So what can I do is the question.
Hmm.
Which means that I have to have that conversation that matters, isn't it?
Yeah.
Imagining like this is the last conversation I'm having with you, Manbir.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I have to say everything I want to say to you,
Yeah.
Manbir, on the
Yeah.
call with you and also for our
Yeah.
audience here who is listening,
Yeah.
because it's not about thinking that we
Hmm.
can say it tomorrow. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Let's put it off
Yeah.
for tomorrow because,
Yeah.
because conversations that matter takes us to the next level.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like having that conversation with our children even, or our
Hmm.
spouse.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
not about delaying it, because the
Yeah.
flip side is, yeah, it's okay, our ego or our I was right,
Hmm.
they were wrong, so I
Hmm.
will not move there and
Hmm.
put myself lower than I should. It's not
Hmm.
about that,
Hmm.
because at the end of the day we may regret those
Yeah.
conversations that we did not have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So making every moment of that conversation counts. And in the workplace, it's similar.
Hmm.
When I was a leader in the workplace, I often had conversations that matter every evening. Can you imagine this, Manbir? At 5 p.m., I would open my door and say, it's
Hmm.
time to have a chat with Mel. I won't call people to my room, but there will every day be at least one person that will say, they knock the
Yeah.
door and they say, Mel, can I have 10 minutes with you? 10 minutes becomes 45 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes with tears, sometimes they're upset over certain
Hmm.
people in the
Hmm.
team
Yeah.
situations, sometimes even personal situations,
Yeah.
right? They bring it up
Hmm.
because they trust our
Hmm. Hmm.
relationship, because it's all
Absolutely.
about relationship, isn't it? So
Yeah.
so to
Yeah.
me these conversations are important.
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
say, hey, this is not work conversation, so don't talk to
Hmm.
me now.
Yeah.
No, it's still important because we are a holistic being, so we can
Yeah.
talk about personal, professional,
Yeah.
aspirations, whatever, with our
Hmm.
people. We
Yeah.
need to talk to them as human beings because
Absolutely.
they are important for them. So we
Yeah.
have to put ourselves in their shoes and say, because it is important for you, this
Hmm.
becomes conversations that matter for me as a leader.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just giving you this and the audience just
Hmm.
different aspects of it at
Hmm.
home and
Yeah. Yeah.
even in the workplace. Yeah,
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's all about just human to human conversations, having that
absolutely.
trustworthy conversations where people are
Yeah,
trusting you, people believe
yeah,
in you, and you believe in people also. Yeah. Lovely.
absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, Mel. That was really very insightful. Before we wind up, Mel, any last words about how would you suggest people to thrive in today's time with respect to their careers?
Well, before I was a coach, I was a marketeer.
Ah.
So everything I did was branding.
Mm-hmm.
And again, reference to your book, you talk about personal branding. And
Yeah.
I think that is so beautiful. You see, every one of us stand for something.
Hmm.
And for me, as a coach, I stand for empowering leaders to live and be brave. So that's
Hmm.
my branding, right?
Yeah.
Just like if I say, Manbir, Nike,
Mm.
everyone knows, oh, just do it.
Do it.
Right? And then we
Yeah.
say Apple, Apple,
Yeah.
oh, Apple, it's technology, isn't it? That
Mm.
we
Yeah.
know that it is. Obviously, some people don't like Apple. It's okay.
Yeah.
They can use the Android phones. It's all right. But I'm an Apple fan. So it's branding.
Yeah.
And branding is
Yeah.
so essential
Mm.
in the workplace, which
Mm.
means what? That means you have to not just want to stand out, right? It's not about
Mm.
standing out, but it's about being in your essence
Mm.
and bringing out the essence within you. So you may be courageous, or you
Mm.
may be kind,
Mm.
or you
Mm.
may be another one, right?
Yeah.
Charisma. You could bring
Yeah.
in whatever it is that you bring in,
Yeah.
you bring in that essence. And it starts with bringing in what's inside you.
Yeah.
Of course, it
Yeah.
starts with knowing what you represent. That means your
Yeah.
strengths,
Yeah.
your areas, your values, your beliefs,
Mm.
all of that is bringing your whole self
Yeah.
and putting it out there
Yeah.
for not just the world to see, but so that you will be proud of yourself as well. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
point creating a brand out there. It looks so nice and everything, and then you are not the brand. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah. Absolutely.
that's a whole
Yeah.
disjoint, isn't it? And
Yes.
that's not being
Yeah.
true to who you are. So,
Yeah.
so to me, I feel today, especially so, it's
Mm.
time for us to be brave, to let our voice, which is our
Yeah.
brand, come out
Yeah.
and differentiate yourself, because the days are tough. Everyone would have a degree and would have their
Mm.
masters and would have all that. So everyone
Mm.
has the ticks and the boxes
Mm.
already.
Yeah.
What's your secret recipe? What's your
Mm.
secret sauce
Mm.
that only you can bring to the world? So I think
Yes.
that's what I'm gonna leave behind, is
Yeah.
find that secret sauce and live according to your values and beliefs,
Mm.
and then
Yeah.
you and I will have a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
Because we are
Yeah.
we are we are true to ourselves, yeah, Manbir?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Mel.
That's it.
That's very powerful. And many times people talk about branding as a very external subject. And actually, that's a misnomer. Branding is not an external subject. It really, as you
Absolutely.
said, it really, really deeply starts from within. And
Yeah.
you said, bringing your whole self. And that's what is your brand. But the first thing
Yes.
is being aware of that whole self.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In your book, you have questions at the end of every chapter as well. So
Yeah.
this is very powerful. For those
Yeah.
who are getting the book, please don't just read the book. Also spend time with yourself to go through the questions, because the questions are the one that can go inside you
Yeah.
and bring out that answer or essence from within. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for those kind words. Well, you're very
You're
kind.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Mel. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this conversation with you. And
Same here.
thank you for lovely insights. I'm sure my viewers today, my audience today, really, really felt this conversation is equally helpful to them. And thank you everyone for watching this video, and see you all again in the next video in this series. And do subscribe to this channel to watch more videos here to help you succeed in your journey. Thank you and all the very best.